Alright, so you're probably watching this video because you're interested in Prohibition. Prohibition's an airsoft game that I produce every year out towards Glendo. We run it as a sandbox open style game, which a lot of people don't understand. So that's what this video is hopefully to show you kind of what we do, kind of how we operate, and maybe get some images out there so you can see, or videos that you can see that the game plays like. So a couple things to introduce you into the game style. Prohibition's my brainchild. I used to go to Rhodesia Revolt. It was a brilliant, brilliant event that people put on down in Utah. Since then, I haven't seen another one like it, so I'm trying to move in that direction to try to give players that experience. Now, that being said, what was available there was a lot different than what we have now. That was a multi-day event. This is kind of a couple hour event. And it just gets players' feet wet into this game style. And hopefully one day we'll be able to branch off and make something different. So, um, yeah, stick around. We're gonna have a video. It's gonna be a little long. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. So, Prohibition. Prohibition is a team-based individual choice game. So what that means is you'll have a team that you're put on with, but you'll be put in a sandbox arena where there's multiple different factions going on. There's multiple different things going on. You're going to have to choose what you want to do because I'm not going to give you a linear path to it, and so on and so forth. So it's a multi-choice game. The player plays the way they want to. You guys get to decide how you want to play. Team-based, faction-based. It's just awesome. So uh, the map itself, so we'll just give you the setting for before we dive into the rules or how the game is played. The setting is kind of marshy. It has a ton of willows, standing water sometimes in some areas, and then on top of that, plains around and trees, lots of trees. So it's a very densely wooded area. If you've played Marsh Over Drugs, you know the exact place that we're playing. Um, so yeah, it's really good. A lot of cover, a lot of guys that like to do the stealth thing. That's there for you. This kind of delineates people into pathways consistently around the map. But if you don't want to stick to a path, you can always forge your own, so on and so forth. So very good play field. I've played there for a long time. Love the place. But again, it is public property. Okay. So public lands come with a couple different rules that we're going to follow so that we stay able to use it. All right. What should you prep for? Knowing that is your socks. You should always have an extra pair of socks. Shoes that drain. If you're wearing heavy steel toe boots, any heavy type of boot in and of itself, you're probably going to find mud a lot. It's going to be a detriment to you. All right. Bug spray, huge deal. Always bring bug spray. Always bring sunscreen. Always bring water. All right. So just so you're prepped for the field on that aspect, there you go. Beginning of the game, your intake. So coming into the field, you're at about 8 o'clock. We'll be ready and set up for you guys to start pulling as the intake. Getting into the intake, you're going to fill out, firstly, a medical card. This medical card is for any of the admins in the field that are responding to a medical emergency, or any player that is responding to a medical emergency. They're going to be able to take this and know if you have any issues that we need to be aware of, all right? These are awesome. Please fill them out. It's a safety precaution for everybody. That'll be the first thing you do. Then your ticket. We're going to handle your tickets. We're going to handle if you have or have not bought one yet, we'll get there and take care of that. Then you're going to fill out a player identification card. Player identification card is purely roleplay. This is your call sign, so on and so forth, what team you're on, things like that, okay? After that, you're going to get your picture taken. This is Duke. The reason we do this is for different aspects in game that we'll cover later. Then you'll get a kill card. This kill card is to remain on you until somebody loots you. is you're good. It's actually one of the ways to win the game. The other thing you're going to do is going to grab your in-game currency. This will be your start amount of money. It'll be explained to you what each denomination is on the day of being there. Just to cover it again, we're going to go from our smallest to our largest denomination. So we have our ones, which are these guys here, relatively small. We have our tens, relatively larger. Hundreds. These guys are nice to get. And then one that players have not gotten to yet, thousands. Okay? So once you get your in-game money and all of your paperwork is taken care of, if you are under 16, you'll have to have your waiver. And the waiver is not necessarily for me. It's so that if you have a medical problem, we can just handle it and your parents are okay with us handling that with any of the guys that are trained to do so. Okay? So, then you'll get your team. This team flag will then be who you're grouped with during the game. After all of this, I need you to head over to Chrono. And I need you to get you all your guns chronoed, please. 400s with 2 O's. Let me repeat that. 400 FPS with 2 O's. That's my limit. We'll work with you if you're a little bit higher. That's fine. But again, we're staying within that region. I'm old school. I understand the jewel issue. I'm 400 at 2 O's. That's where I'm at. That goes for pistols, shotguns, rifles, bolt actions, HPAs, the entire gambit. Alright? Game, just so you're aware, game does not run with full auto. We're semi-only. And obviously, bolt action, whatever. No full auto unless I have given you specific instruction that you can. You come and talk to me. Admins are usually the guys that run full auto for a reason, so let that be, okay? After we get our chrono taken care of, all of the in-game stuff for you as a player is taken care of, you get your patch and all that other stuff, then we're going to go on to the safety briefings, alright? Safety briefing is going to be a little more in-depth than what I'm going to give at the end, which is just a general overview of the rules of the game. And once you're done with that, the admins will check to make sure you're chronoed, you have all your in-game stuff, and then you can head out in the field. We're going to do 2 safety briefings, so do not worry about missing one, the beginning morning one, and then the second one. Game start, officially, everybody should be in field and playing at about 10 o'clock, right? Awesome. After that, later on in the game, we're going to have the firefight event, which is the last 2 hours of the game usually. The last 2 hours of the game, I usually run a full field conflict. Whoever dies comes back to the start zone. Once you're at the start zone, I get to count your money, count your kill cards. I get all of your player information so we can put you on the leaderboards. That last firefight is what ends the game and winds it down, alright? Then we have our index and our awards. Any type of sponsorships that we might have, we'll handle all that at the end. Moving into how is the game played. So a lot of people ask me this question, and it ultimately comes down to you guys as the players. I offer a lot of different paths. I offer a lot of different play styles. This is all up to you ultimately, but this is how I structure the game. This is what you'll look forward to so that you can make your choices, alright? So first thing we're going to do when you start the game is that you're going to get with your team. When your team heads out, they're going to find a still position, okay? So that orange team is going to get their flags, and they're going to head out into the field, and they're going to find a location to set up their still, which is essentially an FOB. That FOB still is going to be where you produce your product. This product is how you get paid in the game. It is the best way to get paid in the game. And so when you start that production, you're going to need to coordinate with your team to get that done. Whether you need defense, logistics, any of that. That'll all be handled by you guys. You drive it. I'm not going to sit here and make it for you. I have way too much other stuff going on. You and your still master, who is an admin, he is an admin. He is an admin, but he's also a player. You guys will all put that together, and you will make sure that you push your guys' agenda into where you want to be. Now, when you've made your product, you will then transport your product to the store. When you get to the store, you are going to try to sell that or pawn it off onto the store owner and get paid for it. That is on you again. Your relationship with the store owner, how you interact with the store owner, the value of your product inside of this, the size of this, whether you're transporting small mason jars, large juice jars, or bigger ones, right? If you're transporting something, it is on you to get your value's worth out of it. There is a pay structure, but you have to haggle it to get a good price, all right? You're not going to just get gypped if you get the lowest end. But if you want a better price or you want better things, you need to be able to operate. This is what sets the game apart, okay? Yes, you can go into a game where you make all your choices, right? You can go to a milsim game and be like, this is the objective we need to take, and you get to decide how you get there. That's fine. I'm going to give you an objective, but then I'm going to tell you at the objectives, it's on you to get what you want. Okay? You may run up to a store owner and he's going to haggle you down. He's like, look at this. This is junk. Why would I buy that when I could buy this much of something else, right? Play it out. Get to know him. Haggle, barter, do any. Hey, is there anything I can do for you? Like, is there any missions you need run? I could do that for you, right? Playing into that is going to get you ultimately a really good rapport in this game, and it's going to increase all of the things that you get to do as well, right? So, the player is going to ultimately drive where they end up in this game. Remember that, okay? So, again, that is the main play loop of the game, but here comes all of the rest of it. The D.O.D.E, which is the law enforcement in the area, teamed with the sheriff, are going to be patrolling these areas that you're in. And if they find you, they're going to interact with you. Whether that's in talking or arresting, or in warrants, or in bounties, or in any of the different myriads of things that could be going on. You may have to facilitate getting out of a situation with these guys that you don't want to be in. On top of that, your other faction that you're competing against is also running patrols, is also running product, is also running lanes, has routes, things like that, right? So you have this dynamic field that you're going to have to be playing in and keeping your mind open. What if I run into green team? If I'm over here and I'm playing as orange team and I have a boatload of product and I'm running, 30 of these and I'm trying to get to the store and I run into a green team and he's like, "What's up, guy? Do I shoot him? Or do I, hey, dude, where are you going?" "Well, I'm going to the store." I'm like, you want to go together?" You two walk into the safe zone together. You may have just secured your entire safe passage by putting a green flag next to you from the opposing team, right? You guys are going to be in such a different dynamic that you're not usually used to, okay? The D.O.D.E is the same way. Now, there's a third faction, which is the mercs. They're all doing different things in this area. So that brings me to my second objective list, all right? So the mercs have their own faction. It's something you can not necessarily leave your team, but you can join them as a second offshoot of your team. You can be a green or an orange merc. You can be just a merc. You can remove your flag and be just a merc. That's totally fine. These mercs get access to different missions, whether that's running supplies, whether that's running letters, whether that's running parts, things like this across different parts of the field, or running guns, or running ammo, or running, you name it. Anything an admin needs done usually is handled by a merc. The more mercs that are on the board, the more things and supplies move pretty quickly. Because the players are pretty focused, right? So they're moving product, trying to get out of the police's eye. They're moving all these things around. So the mercs are there to pick up the slack on anything us admins need done. The other thing that they get access to, which we discussed earlier, is these pictures of all of the players in game. Okay, so let's just say that a bounty gets called. So a player comes up and goes, "Hey, I had an issue with orange. Here's a jerk. I'm gonna put 110 on Lucky Savage." This goes on the board. Mercs get a phone call. "Hey, Lucky Savage, 1-5, 110, right around there is what you're looking." Now every merc in the area is looking for that guy. He's looking for Lucky Savage. Okay, that happens a lot more than you think. So as players are moving in the field, the mercs are going to be out there trying to gain bounties in the way that they do, which will be explained day of. Then you have the D.O.D.E. The D.O.D.E rule set is a completely different rule set. If players want to join the D.O.D.E as a deputy, it is possible. You just need to talk to your agents and get signed up as a deputy. You essentially get rid of this unless you become an informant, which is all on you. I cannot stop you from becoming an informant and holding your orange team and still working for the D.O.D.E, right? Most of the time you will forsake your flag. You can pick it up later if you want and trade it out for an admin flag. So this is kind of an admin role. You guys drive the story. You're out there to engage with players, give them a hard time, not necessarily piss them off, but you're going to just sit there and you're going to give them all of these opportunities, right? Between warrants, jail time, courts, all this other stuff that they might get involved in, that is a D.O.D.E agent. And if you join them, if you do their rule set, that's fine. But you might also get missions from them as a flagged player. You might get a, "Hey, I need locations on a green guy and I don't know where he's at. If you could find his patrol location or wherever he's stationed as a defense, I'll give you money." Or, "Hey, might be a dirty D.O.D.E agent. Might be a really dirty one. You never know." So as a player, you get to decide how you mix with those, okay? As well as we're adding the Stillmasters have missions as well. So the Stillmasters have side quests, essentially side missions that you can do, secondaries to what you're doing. If you're sitting there and you have a lot of downtime because you got one guy who's just going to town producing some product, the Stillmaster will have a list of objectives that you can go out and complete to get paid for, and that would be these larger coins is what you get paid. So you might get a, "Hey, take this over to the other still and fill it with some product that somebody's making and then bring it back to me." Or, "Hey, I have no idea where the enemy still is, where the other team or the other faction still is. Go and get that information, mark it out on this map, and bring it back to me if you would." Totally doable. Find the main route of the enemy team, can do that. Find their outposts, find their this and that, find what they're doing. Okay? So you have all these different missions you could be doing, and then delivering letters, delivering updates, delivering scoring events, like all of that stuff is all on players as well. Okay, so that moves into the end game skirmish, which is the third thing that you're going to do as a player. That last hour to 2 hours of the game, when us admins start pulling all of the assets back together to see where they all went, i.e. money, kill cards, things like that, we'll usually start a skirmish event, which is both still teams go after a common objective, whether it's each other or something else. You'll go at it. Each death, the player will return to the safe zone, and then we will count all of their stuff. So, like, okay, how many kill cards do you have? I only have this one. Okay, cool. So you just had that one. We'll put you on the leaderboard. How much money did you have? I had this much. Oh, okay, well, you're on the leaderboard. Did you have any entries or submissions into the taste test? Yeah, I had this one. Okay, we'll mark you down for it. Did you have any entries into the best looking glass? Yep. Okay, cool. We're going to mark you down for that one. Once we have that, once we have all the players' information, then we can move into index. Okay, once all the players in the field are dead, everybody's retrieved back into the safe zone, then we'll have the index where we allow the final points tallying, and then we'll tell everybody what the final acclamation is. So, if your richest player, most kill cards, and then you have best tasting and best looking glass, and then on the team side of things, we have most produced. Okay. So that's kind of what you look for in this event. This is kind of the long drawn out aspect of the event. I'll move into rules next so that you guys understand what that looks like. I hope this helped. We'll see you in the next section. Alright, if you stuck around, I think that means you're interested in this game, and I really appreciate that. You guys that are interested in the game, make the game. It's not me. I can set up these rules all day long, and I can put together this huge thing, but if you guys are not interested, if you guys don't come out, I don't get to see what happens, right? Now, again, you guys make the story, and so these rules every year seem to change because you find something else that I have to figure out if that's too much or not, right? So if you're reading through these rules and something's changed, something's added, it's because somebody broke the rule, or not, didn't break the rule, they added something new that I thought, okay, that might break the game, here's a new rule. So if you hear something you haven't heard before, or so on and so forth, that's why. It's not because I'm sitting here just wanting to make more rules. I want to allow a pretty open amount of rule set for you guys to do whatever you want, all right? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go through a packing list. This is what I would minimally bring for the game outside of normal airsoft stuff. Okay? So first thing we're going to do is iPro. I want shatterproof iPro on you guys. I don't want any of these Pit Vipers or Oakleys or things like that. I get it. They look good. These are your eyes. I can't stop you. I don't have any huge game affiliation that can sit here and be like, you can't play my game. This is public land. This is a public game. You're able to come out and play. You can wear whatever you want. I just highly recommend that you wear shatterproof iPro. Alright. Next thing is going to be your gun. Your gun can only shoot 400 FPS with 2 O's. That's my limit. Alright. We're going to keep it that way. Semi-automatic. 400 FPS. 2 O's. Alright. Dead rag. Please, please, please bring a dead rag. I cannot tell you how many airsoft games I go to with veterans that don't have these or forget them, and they don't pack an extra. If you get shot, you're going to pull that out, you're going to put it on your head, and you're going to be like, hey, I'm dead, I'm dead, I'm dead, I'm dead. If you don't have this, and you just see a guy raising his hands in the air, in this style game, you may think that he is acting on a specific thing, and you will continue to shoot him. It happens, it happens, it happens. But if you have that dead rag, it's insurance for you as a player in this game set, okay? BBs. Biodegradable BBs only. This is public land. We want to treat the public land as best we can. We want to pick up as much as we can. BBs get flung. We sling BBs all day long. If they're not biodegradable, I'm going to be upset. If I see the green glowy ones, if I see the 12s that are green, red, I may force you to buy some from somebody or borrow some from somebody, alright? We don't want to mistreat this land. We want to continue to use this land and not make a mess, alright? We want anybody who's coming and seeing what we're doing, seeing that we're treating this place with respect, alright? So, the other thing you're going to need is 4 to 8 of these. 4 I think is minimal. You could run 2, but when 2 of these are stuck at the store being unloaded and you're back at your still and you only have 2, it's kind of rough. So if you have 4, that's kind of minimum to me. 8 is pretty good, so on and so forth. If your teammates bring extras, you can always borrow some. Just make sure you mark them as well. Marking the lid is a really good idea. If you have anything like this, you could mark the lid as well. Again, if you bring something unique, we'll know it's yours. So, things like that, alright? So, please, it needs to be 8 ounces and up. 8 ounce and up, alright? Lids, glass. Lids and glass. That's what I'll say on that one. Then you need drink mix for making your product. So if you're thinking, all right, I'm going to have 8, and if I do 4 an hour, I need that many drink mixes to last, or I can make one drink mix last that many jars. You know, do the math a little bit, test it out, see what you think. Next thing you're going to need is a decent backpack or a bag to carry all of your product, or even be a mule. If you have a big enough bag, other players might ask you to transport for them, okay? Here's another one. I want you to bring water. I want you to drink water, please. I do not need a heat casualty. You do not want a $7,000 ambulance ride. Let's just drink water, okay? A week before the event, I would like you to drink water, 1 sip every 5 minutes, for a week before my game. And the reason being is because when you're with me and you have a heat casualty around me, I might have to drag you through the woods. I don't want to do that. I'm not going to do that to you. So, bring water. Please bring water. Bring some way to drink the water. Keep it on you. Keep it cool, alright? More rules on that and later on. So that's kind of the basics around the socks and the dry shoes and things like that. That's what I'm looking for, alright? So the next thing is game rules. What are we looking for in the game for you to follow rule-wise that we can facilitate your gameplay? Alright. Again, we're going to reiterate a couple things. Bio BBs only. Bio BBs only. No pyro. Huge deal. I've already got a couple asks on blank fires and things like that. I get it. They're cool. That's not this type of event. This type of event is a casual gameplay event. It's awesome. It's fun to play. Please don't burn it down. I've been on events where somebody pops a smoke grenade when they shouldn't have. We were told not to use pyro. They said it wasn't pyro. They popped the grenade and started a massive wildland fire. We do not need stuff like that, alright? No pyro grenades, no blank fire guns, things like that, alright? On that, we'll start with cigarettes, things like that, only at the safe zone in the parking lot. Please. It's on you if it's in the field. I can't limit that. I get it. Just as much as you can, do it at the safe zone, alright? iPro, being that ANSI or whatever shatter rating that every other airsoft store requires, that every other airsoft event requires, please bring that one, okay? Dead rag. Again, dead rag. Bring a dead rag, okay? No physical contact combat. My boys who play with each other every weekend and know each other, whatever. Yeah, you know the guy. If you tackle him, that's great. If you don't know the player, let's say you're in the middle of a sandbox operation and you get into an altercation where there's a bunch of product in the ground, there's a bunch of dudes handing guns over, and he's yelling at you, come over here and fight me for it. If you don't know him, don't tackle him, don't put your hands on him. That's my only advice, because as soon as you do, I can't control anything after that, okay? You might both get blacklisted. Is what it is, okay? No blind fire. That's the next one. No over the head, no through the log that you can't see. I mean, you're going to be shooting through trees and stuff. I get that. Just limit the amount of blind fire as much as you can. I've been to events. I know how it is. I know some of these rules can be super, super stupid, where like you can't fire through a hole that's no bigger than that. That's not here. Just don't do blind fire. Just don't be hanging around a tree pulling the trigger, okay? Medical card is mandatory. Again, fill this out, have it on your person, okay? All times, have it on your person. I usually have it in my shirt sleeve. It's a little big for those now, but anywhere that's able to be stored, just have that there, please. Again, that's for any first responders or ambulance or anything. Let's say you break your arm, get a massive concussion, so you have a broken arm and a concussion, and we don't know what to do. We can refer to that and we know what's going on, okay? To signal a problem in game, so again, going off of that, a couple of the different terms we use are blind man. That's when somebody's glasses aren't working or have broken or have fallen off their face. Yell blind man. Everyone else should call out blind man. We should stop the game, allow them to figure out what they're doing, okay? The next thing is going to be real world. If I fall down, boom, and I hit my head and I have a concussion, again, somebody near me should be yelling out real world. He's not responding. Real world. Every other player that hears that needs to reiterate real world throughout the field so that we all understand that there's an issue going on. Then we will figure out how to take care of it, okay? Alright, so along with the real world, we're going to go on to if you get shot, okay? So death rules. There's a couple more coming later, but this is the primary death rule. Primary death rule is if I get shot, I have to put a dead rag on wherever is necessary. If I'm laying down, I can just sit there and twirl it. After I do that, I should scream bloody murder. Scream. Yell. Plead for your life. You have a 2-minute bleed out period. Use it to enhance the game even better, okay? During that 2-minute bleed out time, set a timer, use a mental clock. When you're doing that, there's a couple things that we'll address later that can happen to you, but after you're done with that, you can get up and then no one can bother you and you can move off to the safe zone where you will respawn, okay? Now, how do I win the game? We've already discussed it a couple times, but it's on the rule sheet, and this rule sheet will be available on the website or the event page. The game wins. So Glory Hog, that is going to be your richest player. At the end of the game, when the guy comes up and goes, here's all my money. If he has the most money, he's getting the prize, okay? That's it. That's the simplest way to do it. One year we had one guy who stole half the bank. He won. But every other year it's always been the guy who runs product, runs product, runs product, runs product, runs product, and does that till his eyes bleed, or her eyes bleed. Okay? Another personal thing that you can go for is the best looking glass. So let's say I have a glass bottle or something that looks really nice. It's been in my family for a while, or I think is cool. You can enter your glass in a showing at the end. A lot of times, what people will do is they will take their best looking glass that they think they have and fill it with the next objective on here, which is best tasting. So what they'll do is they'll spend time and they'll create a yummy product and they will put it in a really fancy looking glass, and then they will submit both, and that way they don't have to worry about that one recycling through the field and getting broke. Just so you're aware. Now, the next one is going to be highest skill card count. Okay. If I come at the end of the game and I have collected, 12 of these, that's really good. Usually I'll see anywhere between 4 and 30, okay? Those are my highest rankings usually, so between 4 and 30. Anywhere else, you don't see. So I know that there's only 6 guys doing this in the field, usually. So if you come up and you've got more than 4, you're probably high on this list, okay? So, yes, they range. One year we had a guy that just went out and collected like 30 of them. One year we didn't have anybody collecting, and the guy won with 4. So it depends on how that system plays out. Now, the last one that we do in this game, besides the mercs do their own thing, um, is most production from the stills. So as you guys are producing this, it's getting logged by your still masters or by the store. So as much product as produced and sold is being logged, and that's how you're judged by the end of the game. Okay, so that's how you guys will get that award at the end of the game. Usually it's nothing but for the still master, but again, you'll get that group recognition. I've been to a lot of games where they do not announce the winner, and you have 300 on one side, 300 on one side, or 150 on one side, 150 on the other side, and they've been going at flags all day, and they don't tell anybody who won. It's a bunch of junk, and it needs to be fixed. I think we need to know what we've done and know what we've accomplished during the day, all right? So, we're going to move into sandbox rules next. A lot of talking. All right. So, sandbox rules. These are the rules that kind of outline how the game is played, what you can and cannot do, or what you should do to avoid other things, or so on and so forth. Okay. Sandbox. So, a sandbox is an open style world. Choices are yours. Go make money. Go make money. All right. Looting is limited. When you die, when you get shot, items that can be looted off of you are as follows. Kill cards. Okay. Kill cards can be looted, and they're usually the most looted. The other things that you can get looted off of you are in-game items, which are folders, the green ammo box, and a couple other times are going to be products, like let's say a still needs this product to continue function. You can have that looted off of you, okay? You as a player, this is where I need you guys to focus. You as a player can only be looted for those items and then your product. Okay, there's rulings here, so follow me. If I have 2 of these on me, I only have to give half. Okay, so I give them 1. If I have 1 on me, I do not have to give them anything. I keep my 1. If I have 8, I have to give them half, so I give them 4. Okay, so the reason we do this is that you don't lose all of your work, but on top of that, he doesn't have to now figure out how to carry all of this product, and it's not being left in the field. Okay, so those are the only things that can be done. However, if you're being looted by a D.O.D.E agent, you can lose all of this because that's his job. His job is to find you, find who's making it, and get it out of their hands, okay? Those are the only people that are allowed to do that. Now, reiterate that, put it into your brain, because if looting gets too bad, we're going to have to remove it from the game. Just FYI, okay? These are rules that I'm trusting you guys to police yourselves on, and if it becomes an issue, we'll have to remove it, alright? So, if someone is looting you, give it up. Do not play hard to get. Please don't. Oh, I don't have this. No, I don't have this. Just give it to him. You're bleeding out. You can't really do anything anyway. You're screaming bloody murder for 2 minutes. You can be like, oh, you can increase his day by making it fun and enjoyable, but don't just give him a hard time. Don't play hard to get. All right. If you have something to mention or talk about in game, so if you have something in game that is bothering you, let's say somebody's being a jerk, or they've mistreated you, or you feel like you need to address something, usually we say out of game when having these conversations. So let's say somebody came to me and they were just bad mouthing me in front of my face as a character. I'd be like, hey, real world, I'd like you to stop. It's not really settling well with me. If he continues to do it, then there's a problem, okay? But first address it in real world so that he knows that you're not necessarily okay with it. Maybe someone's teasing you. Maybe somebody's been doing something. You come up to me and you're like, hey, He's been shooting excess without calling his hits. I said, okay, I'll go address it. I'm going to go to him and go, hey, dude, real world. I have accusations against you. You're not calling your hits. I need you to start doing that, or else I'm going to have to ask you to leave the game. Things like that. Like, real world is utilized so that we do this, okay? Another term you could use if it's not that serious is meta. So if I'm sitting here and I'm trying to figure out, all right, let's say the store wants this much product. I can't move this much product, and I need more flavoring to even make it. I can look at my teammate and be like, "Hey, Orange, um, I meta. What if we did this? What if we did this? You know, yeah, let's do that. Okay, cool. So that way you know you're not playing. You're actually trying to get a thought across, things like that. Okay. Um, moving into more of the interaction rules with admins. So do not shoot admins. If an admin is around and he has a purple flag on, he cannot die. Most of the time, if they have a flag on like this, they're not actively playing the game to get shot. Like, they don't want to have any firefights. Other times, they're acting as a player to player asset and not necessarily a combat asset at the time. D.O.D.E agents are kind of in this realm. Sometimes the mercs play in this realm too. Once this flag is removed, then they're able to be in combat. Then they're able to shoot you. If they have this on and they are shooting you, something's wrong. You screwed up or something happened, okay? Usually the D.O.D.E get in firefights with this on because players don't know how to communicate with them, and so they have to arrest them, and before they can even get arrested, it turns into a firefight. So just remember that these guys with flags cannot die. If they're in a firefight with you, you're going to die. These guys probably will not call hits. It comes down to the admins, right? So, like shop owners, videographer, or war investigators, those guys don't want to actually get shot. They're there for videos. They're for you guys. Safe zones are underneath this rule. Like, just be respectful, right? Shooting some admins like the D.O.D.E agents and sheriffs, if they're wearing purple or not. No. Let me rephrase this. If you are shooting at an admin like the D.O.D.E agent and sheriff, that is a bad idea. That starts the warrant process. You should probably talk to him before he starts putting paperwork together to come and find you. Okay? So, a good rule of thumb is not to argue with an admin, but to haggle. So if you're like, I can only give you, this much, or you can't come through here, haggle with them. Talk with them. Get involved. Talk it out. See why he's not letting you do it, okay? To help your team, roleplay, be creative, be cunning, and get the job done. That's really as much as I can offer you as a rule set. Safe zones are designated safe places. There are two of these that are in the terminology. There's the stills and the safe zone. Do not remove iPro in these areas. Shooting other players forfeits all assets in these areas, okay? Merc rewards, loots, all of it, all products to the nearest admin that finds you. So, all faction warfare stops at these borders. However, all conversation is free game for anyone. So, at the safe zone, if I'm firefighting and then I cross into the safe zone, I've got to stop. There's no aggression towards any of the other team. If I'm running around on orange team, there's no aggression to any green team players inside the safe zone. I can walk up and be like, hey dude, that guy over there, he's a jerk. He's on your team, right? That's fine. Do not engage in the safe zone. If someone you're engaging goes into the safe zone, stop. Okay? Usually you'll probably want to walk into that safe zone and be like, I almost had you, right? So continue with that thought process there. Alright. Safe zones are tagged and marked, except for stills. Stills are that other safe zone that you will not see marked or tagged, and it is a safe zone for 200 feet around it because you're going to have a ton of players there trying to produce something. You can't blow it up, you can't steal it, you can't take it, you can't move it, and you can't shoot into it. You can go to it, you just can't be an aggressor at it, okay? And if you're shooting into it and trying to kill all these players that are huddled around it, I'm going to get a phone call. All my admins are going to get a phone call, and we're going to come and find you. So please don't do that. Eventually, we'll start moving into that 2-hour firefight system, and that's when all of those rules start to change, and you'll be told what they are, okay? Another rule that we implemented last year is you cannot gift money. There are myriads of ways to transfer money, but you may not gift money, all right? There's a reason for that, and usually it's in the last 3 hours of the game that we implement that rule hard, okay? Now, a couple rule sets that are a little confusing, and we have to go over most of the time, is at the beginning of the game, I get a kill card, okay? That kill card, when I die, can be looted off of me. If I get looted when this kill card is gone and I go back to the safe zone, I don't have one on me. Ask an admin and they will give you a new one. Okay? Now, if I have, Lord knows how many, 4. If I have 4 cards, okay, and I get shot, boom, go down, dead rag, rules, scream bloody murder, guy comes up and takes my card. I now have 3. I do not need to go and grab another one from the safe zone when I get back there. You have 3. You only get one from an admin if you have 0 on your person. Okay? Good to know. Alright. The D.O.D.E rule set. This is for all you officers out there. When you are playing the game and an officer yells, D.O.D.E agent or sheriff, stop, or hey, I need you to stop, I need to talk to you. If he's a D.O.D.E agent, I highly recommend you stop and talk to him. 90% of the time, you can get out of whatever's about to happen via talking. If you run, you start a very lengthy process with me called a warrant. That warrant gets paid by your stillmaster if it goes through. It's a very large amount of money. And your stillmaster is not going to like it when he gets that phone call. So when a warrant is produced because you ran or because you shot at an officer, it's detrimental to your team overall, okay? So when a D.O.D. agent says, stop, do not run, do not shoot, it is in your best interest to comply. It's part of the roleplay aspect. It puts you in a position where you have to talk your way out of something. That is one of the reasons it exists. It is up to you. This is a sandbox event, and you can do as you wish. My forewarning. When you do encounter them, they may ask you a lot of questions, just to answer the best of your ability. If you need to read the rules, if you need to read the bill that was enacted, if you need to read all of these things to know your lore so that you have a educated answer when they start questioning you, talk to any admin you want and we can get you some of that, okay? Otherwise, they're pretty fairly simple people to talk to. So, if for some reason that they do take you into custody, we are not doing the whole handcuffs thing. If we do handcuffs in the field, there's a high probability you're going to get hurt on the way back. So if you are taken into custody by the sheriff or the D.O.D.E agent, those are the only 2 that can do it. If you're taken into custody, then you will be in custody and you will have to just follow, okay? Roleplay it. It is what it is. When you are in jail, you have to either wait for a specific amount of time or your stillmaster has to bail you out. Again, this is an expensive way, a very expensive way to lose money because you're not paying the bill, your stillmaster's paying the bill, and he may not pay it next time. Okay? Understanding that and knowing all of that, the D.O.D.E agent and sheriff is also a player playable aspect. So if I'm on the orange team and I want to join the D.O.D.E as a deputy, that is possible to me. I just have to approach them and essentially have a job interview. You may have to forfeit your flag for your team. So let's say I'm on orange team. I go up, I'm like, hey, I'd like to be an officer. I'd like to roll with you guys. I'd like to do patrols. I'd like to do this. I'd like to, be a role play asset to you. Okay, cool. Well, here's your badge. You're going to go on a couple patrols with us, and we're just going to see how you work out. If you do work out, you may be asked to start doing patrols on your own. And this is what I'm going to say about this aspect. That's on you. How you handle that, how you do that, is going to ultimately come back to me. D.O.D.E and sheriff deputies are kind of an admin position, but because we have so many players, we're going to allow for other players to attempt it. If you're good at it, I will ask you to continually come back every year, okay? If not, and you're abusing that player trust or abusing player interactions, you and I are going to have a conversation and we're going to try to temper that down and put you back on a team, or we'll have to do something else, okay? All right, moving on. Still guidelines. So stills are where product's made. So this is how product's made, right? So you get your 8-ounce glass, you have your big old bubbler, or not your bubbler, you have your still, transfers into a bubbler. In that bubbler, you're going to put your product. You're going to put all your mixings and things like that, and then you're going to take the tube and you're going to run it all the way over into this jar. And as you pump it, it's going to jump from the still into the bubbler, out the bubbler, and into your jar, okay? That is how you make product. That is how it's done. You can only make your product through that bubbler and into another jar. It cannot be a clear water liquid. It has to be flavored and discolored somewhat for it to be something that the store owner attempts to buy. Okay. The other thing is it needs to be labeled. Your stillmaster will label it. So when you're using the stillmaster may be like, hey, I need a coin. I just need one coin. Just give me a coin and you can use my still. Like, okay, cool. So I give you my coin, I fill up my product, I take my product to the store. Now, each still is different because each still master is different. So one still master might run a tight ship, one still master may run it this way. Remember, they're players, so they're trying to figure out how they're going to run their part of the story too. So in this instance, you may have a still master that goes, hey, pay me 10 coins now, and you can use my still for the next 2.5 hours, especially if you're a heavy production guy. That's a pretty good deal. If I'm doing this or doing that and he just charges me 1 per jar, that's not a bad deal, okay? These are all things you guys are going to have to discuss and figure out in field with your stillmaster. So that's why these rules are a little givey on that, okay? But again, it must be labeled by him. That's what you're paying that 1 coin or whatever many coins per jar, depending on whatever, is to get that label, because without that label you can't sell it at the store. Now your team again will be judged on the production from this, so every labeled jar is official and can be counted towards the overall ounces of that team, okay? If you're going for best tasting, this is another one of those things I'm going to tell you right now, so that if you're trying to get into the best tasting teas or the best tasting juices or the best tasting overall, like if you're trying to go for a best tasting, do it soon. Do it as soon as the still opens. Pay off the still master to do it first. The cleaner you can have that still for your product, the better. The players that do it later in the game, I can't tell you how much grass, insects, all that other stuff filter in, and then I'm taste testing it. Just do it at the beginning. It's so much simpler. The water's clean, the system's clean. Just do it, okay? Now, I think the next one is respawns. Yep. So, respawn is pretty simple, right? We already covered it. You get shot, put your red dead rag on. Cool. Boom. Dead. Scream bloody murder, fall on the ground. Brah! Dead men tell no tales, right? Other than agony, you should not be telling anybody, hey, he's over there. Hey, this guy's over here. Hey, he shot me from behind this. Don't do that. That's a good way to get shot again while you're dead. So, don't do that. Just scream bloody murder. Again, if you come up and get looted, offer those loot items as soon as they're asked for. Shake his hand, tell him he did a good job. If it wasn't the person that shot you, tell him congratulations, they got free stuff. So, dead men tell no tales other than screaming bloody murder. Shut up, lay down, and bleed out, please. If you're looted, give up the loot. After bleeding out for 2 minutes, you must return to the cafe, store, whatever you want to call it, for respawn. Safe zone. Not your still, the overall, the safe zone, okay? It is recommended at this point you drink water. Please. Please, 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 please. If you're visiting some place that has water, drink it. Just please keep hydrated, alright? Once you're ready to go, make sure you have at least one black card on you. If not, grab it from the admin and then return to the field. Or hang out, play dice, do whatever. You can hang out at the store all day. We wouldn't mind. We've got stuff to keep you entertained, alright? Revive rules. A little more tricky than normal, but this shouldn't be too big a deal. This is a purchasable object. You will buy an ace bandage. My ace bandage. You will use in-game money, and you will buy it from me, or my stills, or my store owners, okay? These ace bandages, if available, they can only be used once. You may only use them once. When you do, let's say the dead guy's on the ground, bleeding out, screaming bloody murder, I don't care what team he's on, he could be the opposite team too, or a merc, or a D.O.D.E agent. You could gain leverage using this. Just me saying. Come up, wrap that around his arm. As soon as it's tied off, he's able to revive. He's up right where he died, okay? When he's up, he's going to continue to play the game, he or she, whatever. Once they die again and they go back to the safe zone, they're going to pull the ace bandage off, okay? Then they're going to give it to the admin. The admin's then going to put it back on the sale table, and you can buy it back from him, okay? We're going to do that because it keeps it fair. Whoever wants to actually use the class can use it. Still masters are being added into this as well. Still masters, if you've been revived and you go back to the still and you're doing something and he sees your ace bandage, he can pull it off of you, retape it up, and then you can buy it back from him, okay? You may not re-up this yourself. You cannot just, oh, we're out of the fight. Oh. If you do that, it's going to be a mark against you if we find out, okay? This is an honor sport. Again, let's keep it that way, all right? Merc rules. Merc rules are different every year, but we'll kind of run through how they normally pan out so that we have a baseline understanding, okay? A merc is somebody who works for a team or by themselves. A merc is an independent contractor, essentially, or a team contractor. Mercs get paid to do jobs. Each job is dependent on the game field and what's happening. One year we had to still just break down completely, so we had to merc out parts to get over there, so they were getting paid per trip. Most of the time they're running letters, or they're running orders, or they're running mission statements to individual admins in the field, okay? Otherwise, they are taking bounties, which we've already discussed a little bit, okay? Bounties, whether it's Lucky Savage or Raptor or Jack Torino. These guys, when a bounty gets placed, get offered the ability to claim it, and they will come looking for you if you get called in, right? So let's say you wronged me, and I call up the Merc office and I go, hey, here's 20. I want 20 coins on Pac-Man, and I want Pac-Man dead or alive photo and kill card. That Merc station will put out basically a call to the D.O.D.E, the Mercs, and all the admins on the field that you are now able to be taken as alive or dead with a kill card picture, okay? When they get that and claim it, they get paid, whether it's in, depending on each year, depending on Merc points or in actual coins, depending on how we do that, okay? To get into the Mercs, you must pay a fee. Usually that is dependent on the game and how many people are there, but the fee is what gets you into that club. It's essentially a contractors club. So that kind of covers the Mercs a little bit. They're kind of independent contractors, or they can be still team affiliated, which is usually the best option, is team affiliated but still able to take some of the Merc contracts. The issues you'll run into there is usually you're an orange team member and all of the contracts continually get called in on orange players, and so you may have to make the moral dilemma of taking your own guys, which sometimes is okay and sometimes is not. So those are the basic rules. Now, the next rule set is for advanced fields. So I'm going to cut it here and then we'll add, depending on each year, if we add any other types of rule sets, okay? Okay, so take a drink. This year we're going to add one more rule set, and that's called King of the Swamp. So we're going to have one objective flag per team, so you have to be on a team for this to count for anything, okay? That flag is going to be as close to center as we can get it in the field. As close to center because we want both of you guys to fight over it on each team. When you have the objective, it's not just that you own the territory, it's that whoever owns it is also getting better prices at the shop. So let's say I'm orange team and I go and I raid the flag from green. When they count the flag at the end of the hour, we will do that. We'll do every hour. We're going to count who owns the flag, and that will change payout at the store per team. So let's say your team has a guy who's running consistent product, but you guys aren't making as much as the other team. You can change that via the flag if you like to do more combat. That's where you're going to be finding it. So you milsim guys, that is kind of where you want to hang out. You got you more combat task oriented guys, that's where you're going to try to find most of your firefights. So we're going to centralize that a little bit. Now, again, reiterate the rule set. Every hour, we will count who owns the flag. So the flag will be something that you will not be able to miss it. You will be able to pull one string and one flag goes up, and then attach it so that it stays, or you will pull the flag up on this side and attach it, and that'll be up. If it does not stay up, I can't count it. Okay. Alright, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Alright, so you probably made it through the video. And again, thank you to all my players. Thank you to all the players that come out. And especially thank you to all your admins. You guys make this game. And I personally could not do this without any of you. If you know me, I'll tell you how this event didn't get off its feet very well, and then on top of that I almost didn't ever play it again, and now we have a large player base. So thank you for coming out. You keep me motivated, and it's awesome to see what you guys come up with every year, and I hope to see you in the swamp.